In this video, we are going to be handling questions involving inequalities, but these inequalities this time are quadratic expressions, that is quadratic inequalities. That is what we're going to be handling in this video. Let's start with this example. Solve the inequality x squared minus 3y greater than 18. Now, we already know that if we are given a quadratic equation, we have to rearrange it in such a way that every term comes to this side and then leaving us 0. We are going to equate it to 0, right? So here we are going to get all the terms on one side. We have that x squared is already here, minus 3y. Then the 18 crosses over to be negative 18 is greater than 0. Good. So having seen this, we are now going to solve by factorization. Solve this inequality, solve this quadratic expression by factorization. So we these outside terms, the constant and the squared variable, when we multiply them out, we have negative 18x squared, and then the middle term, why am I having y and x? Please, it's all x. So negative 18x squared, and then the middle term is negative 3x. Okay, we are looking for two values. When we multiply them, they give us negative 18x squared, and when we add them up or subtract, that's the sum, we're going to get negative 3x. So for 18, we have 2 times 9. Those two, none of it can give us this. We have 3 times 6, right? We have 3 and we have 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 6 minus 3 is negative 3. Then, since we needed to subtract them, right, they have to carry two different signs. Then the bigger value has to carry the sign of the middle term, and this one carries the opposite one. So plus 3 times minus 6 is giving us minus 18. Plus 3 minus 6 is giving us minus 3. You can as well go and revise the lesson on solving quadratic equations by factorization method, so as to recap this for yourself. And then we have this. So we are going to replace the middle term by this. We have x squared plus 3x minus 6x, we bring down minus 18 is greater than 0. Then we are going to group them in twos. The common term here is x. So x into x squared is x. X into this is plus 3. Then to get the very one that will stay outside of this bracket, all I do, a simple method I do, is to take off this divided by this. Whatever value I get should be outside here. Then I can now repeat these brackets. So minus 6x divided by x is minus 6, right? And then we now have x plus 3. Or you can as well go ahead and then do the original thing, which is, what is the common term here, which is minus 6. Okay, so the outside brackets, x minus 6, the x plus 3 is greater than 0. Okay, so it's either this is greater than 0 or this is greater than 0. We have x minus 6 greater than 0, or x plus 3 greater than 0. Then to isolate x on this other side, we have that x greater than minus 6 crosses over to be a positive 6, or x greater than plus 3 crosses over to be a negative 3. Then these are the solutions to that inequality. X greater than 6 or x greater than negative 3. You can as well draw that on the number line and then find out. Okay, on to the next one. Find the range of values of x which satisfies the inequality 12x squared less than x plus 1. So let's go ahead and rearrange this to have all the terms on one side. So the x crosses over to be negative x, negative 1, less than 0. Okay, so this is what we are working with. We have to solve this. So these outside terms under this arrangement gives us negative 12x squared, the middle term negative x. So the two numbers we can think of that could give us 1 when we add or subtract, that is when we subtract actually, is 2, no, 4 and 3, right? 4 times 3 is 12, right? So now to know the signs to assign them, we need to subtract for us to get a 1, right? So the bigger value carries the sign of the middle term, this one carries the opposite sign, so that minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1. Minus 4 times 3 is minus 12. And then we now add up the x's so that they can give us 12x squared, right? So we have 12x squared. We replace the middle term with negative 4x plus 3x. Then we bring down minus 1 less than 0. We group in twos. So for here, the common term is 4 and x. 4x into 12x squared, that should give us 3x. And then 4x into itself is 1. So then for this, 3x into 3x is plus 1, right? So we have 3x minus 1 less than 0. We collect the outside terms, the inside terms less than 0. So this is less than 0 or this is less than 0. We have that 4x plus 1 less than 0, 3x minus 1 less than 0, or, right? We keep solving. We have that 4x less than, plus 1 goes over to be a minus 1, and then we have x, we divide both sides by 4, right? Over 4 over 4, x less than minus 1 over 4. On this other side, we have 3x less than, minus 1 goes over to be a plus 1. We have divide both sides by 3. We have that x less than 1 over 3. Okay, so these are the solutions to the inequality. But remember, they asked us for the range of values for which this whole term is less than 0. Looking at this will be a positive graph, right? And the solutions to this graph are minus 1/4 and 1/3. So the range of values for which all these are less than 0, that is between here and here, where these are less than 0. So for this, we have, they are at the points where x is greater than minus 4, right? Greater than is on this side, and then where x is less than 1/3. So if you're asked for the range, these are the solutions for this. But asking for the range, that means that's combined inequality. So all we usually do, since it's x less than 1/3, the bigger value comes here, less than 1/3, and the same sign you have to keep up with, right? So since we have less than here, so we invert this. We can see that for x, that is 1/4 less than x. So this is the point where this is actually less than 0. So these are the range of values. These are the solutions to the quadratic equation. These are the range of values. So whichever way the answer presents itself, you already know what to do. Now we are going to do one more example. Solve the inequality 2 minus x greater than x squared. So let's just rearrange the whole thing. The x squared crosses over to be negative x squared greater than 0. So this is what we are solving. Always rearrange and solve. Okay, without wasting further time, we have negative 2x squared and we have negative x. So our values are 2 and 1. Since we needed to subtract to get the middle term, this carries the minus, this carries the plus, right? And then we have we replace the middle term by minus 2x and plus 1x. So 2 minus 2x plus 1x, and then we bring down minus x squared greater than 0. We group in 2's. We have that the common term here is 2. 2 into itself is 1. 2 into 2x is 1x, so just x, okay? So we have, for this 1 into 1x is just x, that's a plus x. And then we can now have 1 minus x greater than 0. We collect the outside terms, the inside terms, all greater than 0. We have that 2x, 2 plus x is greater than 0, or 1 minus x is greater than 0. Then, remember we are leaving the variable here, so x is greater than minus 2, right? Cross this over. Or minus x is greater than 1. Now, for this, we can't leave this way. We have to divide both sides by minus 1 so that x stands alone. And when we divide or multiply by a negative value, we have the signs changed to the opposite. Minus 1. X is less than minus 1. So these are the solution. X less than minus 1 and x greater than minus 2. Now remember we were writing range of values, right? So when writing range of values, let's start with the bigger value. Now in the negatives, this is actually bigger than this. Owing 1, someone owing 1 is actually richer than person owing 2, right? So this is the bigger value. So we start with the bigger value. And then for that other one, we use the same sign. We now have the smaller value. That is how to write the answer in this form, the range of values. And then even if we look at the original question we started with, that's for what range of values is this equation greater than 0? This is a negative graph because the squared variable is negative, right? So this is a negative graph, and then we have at minus 2 and minus 1 as the solution, right? So for where is this greater than 0? Where this is greater than 0 are just values of x between minus 2 and minus 1. So for x greater than minus 2 and x less than minus 1. And it is represented by this range. We can see here x is greater than minus 2, right? The greater sign is on each side. That is the greater side of the inequality on each side. And then x is actually less than minus 1, right? So that is just how to get the range of values for an answer like this. Start with the bigger value, repeat the sign, place the smaller value. That's just one of the easiest way. Or you draw the graph and then decipher.